Hey guys, Corey from Aquarium Co-op here. Today we're doing another Real Fish Talk episode. It's just me, Lamont's not here. So I thought I'd pick a topic that I feel like I know a lot about, and I'll qualify myself why I know a lot about it. But as the title says, here's how you can make $1,000 breeding fish. So as the joke goes, the old adage of anyone who's ever given a talk about breeding fish and things like that, start with $2,000. That's how you make $1,000. Or go buy $4,000 worth of equipment for your fish room, and by the time you're done giving up and selling it off, you might have $1,000 left. It's a great way. But the reality is, it is not that hard to make some money. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to make a living. It's not going to replace your day job or anything like that. I've met a lot of successful breeders, but it's all a part-time gig. And I just felt we should shoot this episode because I get this call or email or talking in person at the store at least once a week from someone that says, well, I want to breed fish, and what would you buy if I bred it? And my answer is always the same, and it always gets a bad response, is anything I sell in the store. And they go, what do you mean? I go, well, clearly, if I'm selling it in the store, I have to buy it from someone. I'd much rather buy it from a hobbyist than, fly it halfway across the world and have to treat it and do all those things. And, but they always take it the wrong way. They always want me to tell them specifically what to breed, and that just never works out because I don't know your skill set. You don't know your skill set. Most of the time, if you're an accomplished breeder, you already know all these things. You come to a store or a wholesaler or something like that and you go, well, I make this. I sell it for this. Would you like to buy it? And that's just not how the conversation ever starts with a person who wants to get into it. And so, this might be a few episodes long. It's kind of a detailed subject. And, so I'll split up into parts maybe or, something like that. But the first thing is, don't go out and buy a bunch of equipment. That's like the number one mistake. When someone goes, I'm going to be a fish breeder, and so they set up a giant fish room like I've got going. Not that mine's that giant yet, but they set up all this equipment. They do all this groundwork thinking it's the groundwork that makes it so you can breed fish. And while that does help produce more, it is not the way to do it. So for instance, let's say you wanted to start making and selling clothing, okay? So instead of going and buying a factory that can produce, 500,000 shirts a day, how about you get a sewing machine and make sure you could make a shirt and that someone would actually want to buy that shirt before you went and spent $4 million on a facility? And that's just what we don't do in the hobby, is everyone goes, well, to do this, to make this fish, well, I'm going to need the tank I'm going to breed it in, I'm going to need the fish, I'm going to need all these grow-out tanks, I'm going to need all this food, I'm going to need all this, and they buy all these supplies and get ready, and then they might find they can't even buy that fish, or they can't breed it, or that the store doesn't want to buy it from them. There's all these things, and so, slow it down, slow it way, way down, and you'll do much better. So, let's look at a few things like, what would I recommend to breed? Because that's what everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know, what should I breed? What should I do? And the answer is anything that's sold in mass quantity. So I'm going to highlight a few things that means not to breed. Don't breed discus. Yes, they sell for lots of money. Guess what? They don't sell in mass quantity. Don't breed stingrays. Don't breed most African cichlids. If you're going to breed an African cichlid, go for yellow labs, ACIs, Demasoni, anything that's sold in high numbers. What else would we not breed? I would say probably don't breed Oscars. A lot of Oscars are sold, but not nearly as many as Tetras and things like that. So, So things I would breed, the people that are really making money in this industry breed by the millions and things like that, and they make very slim profits. So if you want to see the guys that are making the most money in the fish industry, go visit a feeder goldfish farm, go visit a feeder guppy farm, things like that, where they're making a penny per fish but they do it in millions and billions of quantity, and that's where all the money is. So yeah, there's going to be, people always say like, well, why aren't there more discus around in stores? That's because they don't sell well enough to justify their space a lot of the time. Why aren't there more discus breeders? Why are they all overseas and things like that? Because typically there's not enough money in it. Wherever there's money, people will go to make money. Realize that. So if you're the guy that goes, oh, I've got it all figured out, I'm going to go somewhere where no one else is, chances are you're just doing it wrong. That's the reality. Because if you can turn out, let's say, 100,000 discus every 6 months, something like that, and money was better doing another fish, you'd switch to it. Vice versa. If you can make your millions off of guppies, and all of a sudden there was a run on, let's just pick a fish here and say yellow lab cichlids, you'd start producing yellow lab cichlids. When you have a team of 100 people working for you and several greenhouses full of fish and all that kind of stuff, and there was better money on the table, you'd make the switch easy. So the money's not there, that's why they don't do it. So I'm just going to touch on the basic things I think most people could make money on. And even if you're just a hobbyist going, well, I would just like to trade some stuff into my fish store, that'd be nice. So the things that are easy to breed and make and things like that, and you should have an easy time to unload, it could all be done from, let's say, a 10 or a 20 gallon tank. That's all you need. Just one tank, and you could start working your way to your first $1,000. And it seems insane. You're going, well, that he's lying, But the reality is, if you were to breed some just normal fancy guppies, so just a basic fancy guppy. So go to your pet store, buy a male and 2 or 3 females, and get them breeding. You raise them up, and then you establish a relationship with the store, and we'll go over that in another episode or later or something, because that's almost the most important part right there, is finding out who you can sell to. But so you establish that relationship, and then maybe you sell those guppies back to them for 50 cents each, and that's cash. 50 cents cash, even though you might have paid 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever dollars for your guppy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the guppy sells for in the store. And a lot of people have a hang up on that. We'll go over that later. It matters what you're going to get for it in your pocket. And so let's say it's 50 cents. And so you make, let's just say you make, let's say you sell the store 50 guppies a month. That's $25 in your pocket. That's not bad money. So you now have a 10 gallon or a 20 gallon making you $25 a month. And you might say, well, that's not very much money. You're right. But compare it to other tanks you have in your house where they just purely cost you money. And so what happens is people get this, or they get that little taste of $25 and they go, well, if 10 gallon tank makes me $25, if I had 10 gallon tanks, I'd make $250 a month. And if I have 100, I'd make, and that's just not exactly how it works, but it is, in moderation, it does work. So let's say you've got a 20 gallon tank making some guppies, you make $25 a month, that's great. The best thing you could do instead of expanding out to more guppies would be to breed something else in that aquarium. So you can do double duty. So let's think of the things we can double duty on with guppies. As you've seen in my fish room, I do lots of shrimp. And if you were to do a cherry shrimp, for instance, and you got a nice, decent grade that comes out nice and red, and let's say you got to buy those at $10 a piece because you're buying a very high-end grade, whether it's online, from your store, whatever. And so so maybe you breed guppies for 4 months. You got your $100. You take that $100, you invest it $100 in very high-quality red shrimp, and then you add that to your tank. You get that breeding also. So you're feeding your guppies really well, which is a byproduct, feeds the cherry shrimp really well. They start producing. So now you go into your store, you sell them your 50 guppies for the month at 50 cents, you get $25, and then you sell them, let's say, another 25 cherry shrimp. If you're in a market where they can sell a lot of shrimp, like we might sell 100 cherry shrimp a week, so you might be able to make a ton of money off of us. But let's say you're in a smaller area and they can only sell 25 a month. So now you're making $50 a month because you're selling them for $1 a piece. And yeah, that's going to be less than a wholesaler. Yeah, you're going to provide better quality. Yeah, you might have paid $10 a shrimp, but you're working on building a better relationship with your store. You want them to buy from you every time. Not, oh, I found someone cheaper, I'm going to go to them. Oh, I found someone with better quality, I'll go to that wholesaler. You want them to buy from you every time so that you can get an account going that will fund the rest of your breeding. So now we're up to $50 a month. You know, that doesn't seem like a lot, except we're already at $600 a year. Yeah, $600. So already, in a year's time, if we were just to do cherry shrimp and guppies out of the same 20-gallon tank, and we sold them to one pet store every month, we're at $600. Now, you're going, okay, well, yeah, great. You can't breed anything else in there. That's not true. There's actually a couple other things you could do in that tank. It will start impacting on how much you can make out of that tank, but you could also do, let's say, a mystery snail or a ram's horn snail or something like that in the same tank. And, you know, but I'm going to say, let's say you stick with two. So you go with a guppy and you go with either a snail or a shrimp. That'll basically all net you out the same money. Let's say you're getting your $50 a month out of those two. The next best thing you can do is make Java moss. And Java moss is great because it's super easy to grow, doesn't require a lot of lighting. It basically needs a lot of fish poop. You can give it a little bit of fertilizer. That'll help speed it up a little bit. It doesn't grow that fast when you add CO2 and all the equipment to it, so you don't have to worry as much about a competitor. No one's going to come in and go, well, I just set up this super high-tech, insane setup, and I make Java moss by the buckets every day. This is not going to happen. And so you don't have to worry about that market getting saturated, really. And so now you've got Java moss, which is protecting the shrimp, protecting the fry from the guppies, and if your fish store's worth going to, they should desperately want your Java moss. It's something you can't buy commercially. I literally can't buy Java moss from any of the farms that I buy plants from. And I might buy hundreds and hundreds of potted plants. We're talking thousands of dollars all the time. And I can't buy Java moss. They'll sell me Java moss, but it's Java moss that's been grown out of the water. And so it looks completely different. It turns brown, dies back, melts, and it will come around after 2 or 3 months. But at the amount of Java moss that you sell in a store, which might be a 5-gallon bucket worth, packed in pretty good every week or so, you can't make enough. And so that's why I literally am considering, like my fish room out there, that every tank will be filled with Java moss. And it's not glamorous, but that's where the money is. And so let's say you can produce out of your tank, each time you go in, you can give them $20 worth of Java moss. And so you're at $70 right there off a 20-gallon tank in a year. So you're making, $70. I don't even know what that's going to be. It's like $750 or something close to that per year off of that one 20-gallon tank. And that's all off basic stuff. You've got some cherry shrimp, you've got some guppies, you've got some Java moss. It's one aquarium. The cost to run that one aquarium was the wattage for a very low light fixture, a little bit of heat, and some fish food. So very, very low entry level there. Now let's take that same example and let's do it with, let's say, discus. Because we get hit up for it all the time. Like, oh, would you buy discus if I can breed them? And the answer is always like, yes, we would buy some. The problem with discus is, let's say you've got some red eruptions that you're just in love with, or turquoise, or pick a strain that you love and you're going to breed them. All right, so let's say you do breed them. We'll just assume you've got the skill and the know-how and you do breed them. You probably started with at least a 30-gallon tank, if not a 50 or a 75, because you probably needed more than two just to pair them off. So you're already a bigger investment there. You have to keep them much warmer, so that's going to cost you more money. Their food requirements are much higher, typically frozen bloodworms, live blackworms, and other high-quality foods. And then you get a spawn that's going to take you months and months and months to grow out, and then they're going to get to roughly that quarter to 50-cent size, and you're going to have, let's say, I'm just going to pick a number, 150 of them that got to that size that are sellable. You go to a store and they go, well, all right, I guess that strain will take 10, you know, and they'll give you, let's say you get $9, $10 a piece maybe, you know, and that's if you're lucky, because if you're like me, you know, yeah, I'll probably sell 10 of those, I guess. And then next month comes, and it's like, oh, well, you know, I've still got like 2 left. Yeah, give me like 5 more, I guess. And then by the third month, I've saturated the market on that strain. Like, just no one else wants it. Like, everyone's got it that wants it. And so then I'm going to be telling you, like, well, you know, if you could breed Marble Reds or some other strain, I've got a guy asking for those. So you could chase that down, spend a lot of money and get that done. And I'll buy another 20 or less of them from you. And that's the problem, is you're making $200 in a couple of months, but you're not making it year round. It's not a sustainable thing. The numbers aren't there. And yet you invested way more money. Let's say you bought $30 discus and you bought 8 of them to get your breeding pair, plus the tanks, plus you needed more grow out tanks, plus you had to have all this high quality food. You might have been having to hatch live brine, stuff like that. So you might have invested, you know, $1,000 to be able to recoup $200 or maybe $500 over the course of an entire year. Maybe you could sell to me a couple of times a year and unload those discus. Meanwhile, the guy with a 20-gallon guppy tank is racing ahead of you and making money. And if that's the goal, and I should be clear about that. If your goal is to make money, it is a very different avenue than just to have fun. And when you're doing it to make money, you should be very diligent, and you should not be competing against guys that are doing it to have fun. There's a guy, you know, if you're doing discus and you're doing it for profit and you need to pay your mortgage at the end of the month, and you've got a guy in your area who, made some discus, and he's walking to the pet stores going, well, I'll take whatever. Yeah, trade me some fish food, whatever. I just need to find these homes. I had a lot of fun raising them. That's really going to cut into your profits and make it very difficult for you. And that happens all the time. And that, you know, that's probably another subject about longevity of breeding. That is a very important thing, to be the rock steady, this guy is my discus guy, this guy is my angelfish guy, this guy is my guppy guy. Not, well, I've got this week, I've got that next week, I've got that 2 months down the road, oh, I don't do that anymore. That doesn't create stability, and it won't make someone want to buy from you. So yeah, the 20-gallon tank, that's how you make your first $1,000. It's pretty easy, you know, and there's lots of other things. So let me think what subject I want to go into next, because this video is a little too short to end it there on how to make 1,000. To expand out from that, the best thing you could do is sell complementary products. And what that means is your fish are a product, you're trying to sell them to a store, and that store is going to try and sell them to a customer. Now, let's say you've got your shrimp and you've got your guppies. Why do those three work well together? Because they can all breed in the same tank. Why will they sell well for a store? Because the customer that's interested in your guppies is also going to need some moss to protect them, because they want to breed guppies. Oh, and they might want some shrimp. And when they ask the shopkeeper, well, can these shrimp live with these guppies? The shopkeeper can then say, well, the guy I buy them from, which they're locally bred, he breeds those shrimp in with those guppies with Java moss. So all of a sudden, you get the trifecta sale. They go, well, let me go ahead and get like 5 of these guppies. Let me get a portion of that Java moss, and let me get some of those shrimp, and I want to set up a tank, and I want to become a millionaire. And here's where it's important that you've got a good relationship, because that person might be very successful in doing that, and they're going to try and unload to the same store. And hopefully your store owner will be loyal to you because you've helped him set up that sale. But let's say they're not. And you can't fault the store for this, because let's say the guy that bought all that stuff, and he's being really successful, he comes in and goes, well, I'll sell you the guppies for 40 cents. And I'll sell you the shrimp for 80 cents, and I'll give you the Java moss. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go back and undercut that guy. All you're going to do is drop the floor out of the market, and no one's going to want to be in it. And so what'll happen is you need to set your prices to where they're low enough that no one can come in and undercut you and make a lot of money, but not so high that you're way higher than wholesalers and things like that. So it's a very thin margin where you can be successful. And if you're getting, let's say you could sell those cherry shrimp and the store's giving you $3 a piece. A guy like me, if I didn't know the store, is going to walk in and go, wait, you give $3 a piece? I will literally flood you with cherry shrimp or whatever type of shrimp for $2 a piece, and I'll laugh all the way to the bank. And so you're just, you're like attracting sharks. If you're getting too good of money, you're going to attract the sharks to go, oh, I can ruin this market. So you want to go, well, $1 is enough that you're making money, but a guy like me is going, well, yeah, it's $1. You can get that anywhere pretty much. Like, yeah, okay, So you want to keep it at a fair level that will get you money, but not too much money. And then you just have to wait out your competitors. It happens all the time. There's, angelfish are notorious for it. You get an angelfish breeder, he sets up the entire fish room, he's got every type of angel going, and he's got every size you could want, and he's got way too many angels, and every angelfish breeder is the same way, I swear. They always come in and they go, I'm joking out. I've got literally probably 10,000 angelfish in my fish room. They're eating me out of a house and home. I need to sell some. And you're going, as a shopkeeper, we're going, well, I've already got like 200 angels in the store. I just don't need more. And they go, well, I really got to pay the electricity bill in this fish room, and I need some fish food and stuff like that. Like, what if I sell them to you cheaper than I normally do? And so then they're bringing their price down. They're undercutting themselves. And you buy some more and you go, fine. If they're 60% of the normal price, I'll take, in my mind, I'm basically going, I'll pre-buy next month's angels, I guess. And I'll store them, and then we'll do a sale on them in the store and things like that. And then what happens is another angelfish breeder comes in. So now there's two in your area. Now they both have the same problem. Too many angelfish, can't unload enough of them, and they're going to start undercutting each other. And what happens is they'll bring the price down to where it's great for me. I'm paying 50 cents an angelfish, and they're both making great fish. None of them are making money. They both end up shutting down. And it'll happen within about 2 or 3 months of each other. They'll shut down because they're both not selling enough of them. And they're both losing money on this, job they basically have. And then a guy like me has no one to buy angelfish from. So it's that longevity. If the one guy stayed at this size angel, my angels are $1, that's just what it is. And that guy comes in and, he undercuts. Let that guy undercut you. Just let him do it. If you've set your price right, at 90 cents, he's not making enough money to be sustainable. If he does stay in and he's making money for like a year straight off 90 cents, that means your price of $1 was too high. Or he found a way to do it cheaper. Maybe he's got free rent on his building. Maybe he's got free power somehow. Or he is retired and doesn't need to make as much money. Or he's got free water. If an effect like that is happening, you're going to have to switch. You go, oh, well, I guess I got to do Plecostomus or guppies or whatever it is. But typically, people don't have access to those free things. Like, most times, like if they're retired, they want to travel. They don't want to do that for the rest of their life. They'll do it for a while because it's fun to breed angelfish. They did it when they were younger. Now they're doing it again for a while, 6-8 months. Then they get tired of the same old. But yeah, if you leave too much money on the table, as profit, people will come in and snatch that from you. And I still maintain that most people are better off breeding complementary stuff. So instead of that example where we had an angelfish breeder who has 10,000 angelfish, he's got, let's say, 50 tanks running, all filled with angelfish. He walks into my store, I can buy some angels from him. Or that guppy person, they walk in, I can buy 3 items from them. Maybe I'm filled up on guppies because a family came in and they go, we got too many guppies, there's breeding, can you take them from us? Yeah, sure, I'll take guppies, I'll sell guppies. And so they unloaded 100 guppies on me, and it put the bamboozle on your monthly money that month. Like, oh, well, I don't need to buy any guppies. I just took in like 100 yesterday. You still get to sell me cherry shrimp and Java moss. You still make money. That's a great thing. And so, like, if you're that angelfish guy, why wouldn't you sell angelfish, but then also breed some Corridoras? So that now you can go, oh, look at this, buy this nice silver angelfish. Oh, and stir-by Corys are great too. They can live in the same tank. And that's that complementary product thing I'm talking about. So, if you breed cherry shrimp, for instance, don't breed epistogrammas or rams. Why? Because those two can't go together. It means that the person that loves your epistogrammas will pretty much never be buying your shrimp. That's not a good thing for you. Yeah, they're both going to sell at a store, and maybe you'll be able to move enough, but it doesn't work well in your fish room either. You know, you can't put stuff together. It's, you know, it doesn't help them sell it. So you're much better off going, okay, well, I breed some Corridoras, I breed some live bears, I breed some shrimp, I make some plants, you know, things like that. You can also do Java moss and epistogrammas, or you can do, you know, like let's say you do epistogrammas because you love epistogrammas. You know, you could do some like platies. They technically won't eat them, but they want different water parameters and things like that. You know, so try to find things that are complementary, that you can be solid on, that you can go to your local store with and say, these are what I have, these are what I make, would you like to buy them? Instead of coming in and asking me, what can I make you that you will buy from me? Because the shop owner is thinking, whatever's already in my store, I would buy from you if it's cheaper than my wholesaler or better quality. It has to be one of those two, by the way. If it's not a better quality that the consumer can tell, or it's not cheaper, there's no reason for us to buy from a local hobbyist. And yeah, we do like to help them, and we might give store credit for it, but when we're talking cash money, we got to be very careful. There's not a lot of money to be made in the fish industry, and so you really don't want to squander it away with bad decisions. So you want to make sure that you're either offering that, you know, everyone's a customer. So if you're breeding the fish store is your customer. And if I own the fish store, my customer needs a good value too. And like Dick Au says when he gives a talk about breeding fish, you always want to make sure every customer is happy. So that means if I'm the breeder, so I just bred guppies, and I sell it to my fish store, my number one goal is that they sell every one of those fish, they didn't lose a single one, and they made a ton of money. I hope they sold them for $100 each. And the reason being is I know next month when I show up and I want my 50 cents, they're going to go, oh yes, please. In fact, give me 60 this month. We did so well on them last month. We need more. That is the goal. And then when the store sells them to the hobbyist goes, man, blah, blah, blah Aquatics has the best guppies I've ever seen. They do well. They never die. Man, do they have good guppies. That is a win-win-win scenario. If you don't have that win-win scenario, it's going to come to a screeching halt. If you sell a guppy to the store and it dies or doesn't sell, they don't buy from you. Also, if you sell it to the store, you know, I see this happen a lot. They convince a store that, okay, well, this fish online, let's say it's like my big eared guppies out there. I literally paid like $40+ per fish. The consumer, the average public will never pay that. And I know that already. So I know that people are willing to pay in a pet store about $20 per pair of fancy guppies for a high-end guppy. Can I get more on Aquabid and online? Definitely, but that's not the market I'm selling to at that moment. So if you know that, and let's say I'm a breeder and I'm breeding those guppies and I sell them to a different store, which I wouldn't, but let's say I did, and I sell them to them for $20 a pair because I know I can get $50 a pair online, and I tell them, well, they go for $50 online. They look it up and go, yeah, sure enough, they do. And they buy 6 pairs and they put them in their store for $50 a pair, and they don't sell any, guess what? They're never going to buy from me again. They're going to go, wow, I just lost $120 on this guy. So you need to make sure that the target market will actually pay for it. And that brings up another point. What you think is cool is not what sells. I'm going to say that again. What you think is cool, what looks cool to you, is not necessarily what the public thinks is cool. So all the time people walk in and they're breeding really shrimp. If you don't know what a really shrimp is, it's basically any of the types of shrimp, cherry shrimp, chocolate shrimp, blue velvet shrimp, all those shrimp, but instead of being a uniform color, they'll be like, let's say on a blue velvet, maybe blue head, white patch, blue patch, white patch. So they're almost like, not striped, but segmented in color. And they'll call that like a really shrimp or really carbon shrimp, or, a cherry red really, all of those. As a super shrimp nerd, you might go, wow, those are awesome. I need me some of those. But the general public goes, what's wrong with that shrimp? And I call it the grandma test, the soccer mom test, I'm not that into the hobby test. If I showed my grandma a super red cherry shrimp that's just really nice, it's just full on red, looks great, and then I showed it a really cherry shrimp right next to it, and I asked her which one was better, they're going to pick the full red one every time. They're going to go, oh, that one's missing color. That one's, there's a problem with that one. And that's the general public test. They want the full red one. So even though, as a hobbyist, I go, well, the reallys are rarer, they're kind of cooler, they haven't been around as long, I want those, I want to breed those. The general public doesn't want that. They want the red one. And so you need to breed what the store is actually going to sell, and you got to think like a consumer to sell well, as opposed to, well, I made a fish that goes for a lot online. And most of the time when things go for a lot of money, it's because there's not a lot of demand for it. There are some exceptions. If you're the first person to make the big-eared guppy, there's going to be some money in it for you. If you're the first person to make the super red angelfish, there's some money in it for you. That being said, when it comes to, I'm trying to think of some things that, like discus, for example. Why do they go for a lot of money? They've got a lot of carry requirements. Stores don't really want to carry them because we don't sell them that much. And they go for a lot more money because of that, because there's not enough money to support multiple breeders being in it. That's the reality. So that covers, that'll get you your first $1,000 or so. And that's kind of the first thing to get your brain working. How can I make money off of very little equipment, not setting up a giant fish room to get started? Just support your little hobby, make some money. I can't imagine any viewer out there right now would be sad if they go, well, let's say you got to tell your wife or your husband or your family, you go, well, this tank right here, it makes me $1,000 a year. I actually only spent $600 last year. I made $400 and I got to keep the fish. Like that's an amazing story to tell, right? So everyone would enjoy that. So that's the first segment here. I'll go ahead and shoot some more segments on some of the nitty gritty of some more like, so in part 2 and 3 and 4 and whatever, how many parts it makes, but like establishing that retailer relationship, which is really important. Who to sell to and who not to sell to, that's very, very important. That might even go in with the retailer thing, because that right there can close down your operation. And then we'll talk about like when it's time to expand and how much to expand and how to fund it, things like that. And, and we'll just keep going from there, because I think that's a slow and steady rate, and we'll break this into chunks, so you can digest it. So, hopefully you can take this, you can implement some of this, you can start making some money right away, and then you can implement other ideas down the road. And I forgot at the beginning, I said I was going to qualify myself on why I think I can talk about this product, or not this product, I'm not talking about a product, it's not a sales pitch, why I can talk about this topic, not product, topic. So I've attended every breeding for profit talk I've ever had a chance to, and that's a lot of them. I've flown around the country, I've driven to go see them, I've seen multiple talks. I own a fish store, so I've got a little bit of insight there on what actually sells. I ran the Breeder Award program for many, many years for the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society. I watched a lot of people try and become professional breeders. I'm friends with lots of breeders, and the true breeders know there's no money to be made in the fish hobby, and it's not exactly true. Like, there's some money to be made, but everyone knows you take the same amount of effort you put into making a fish and you go work delivering pizzas, you'll just straight up make more money. Like, take the hours it took you to make guppies and guppy grass and cherry shrimp, and if you were to go deliver pizzas, you will make more than $1,000 a year easily. But you do it because you like that. That's the important part. But yeah, and before I owned a store, I worked at a store, and before I worked at a store, I did a little bit of breeding. But that basically taught me, I tried multiple things to make money off of fish, and I learned a lot of things that didn't work. I did the classic, if this one pair of guppies makes me this amount of money, what if I had 50 tanks of guppies? What if I was selling on Aquabid? What if I was selling to all these stores? And why it didn't work. And I'm giving you that knowledge so that you can skip ahead and be profitable. And that's the thing, is profitable. There's a lot of people that breed fish and they have no idea they're not profitable. That is a very key thing. They make a ton of fish and you can be jealous, like, wow, that guy is always selling fish. But you might find out he literally runs at a loss. So that's where I'm going to wrap up this episode. It's real fish talk, how to make your first $1,000 breeding fish. Check out the other episodes. We've got other series, real fish talk. We talk about something new every week almost. This one's going to be kind of a multi-part series. I don't know that it'll be in a row, so you might have to wait for other episodes to come out. We've got Day in the Fish Room on Fridays. We've got Quick Tip Tuesdays, things like that. We go visit fish stores, fish room tours, things like that. So, as always, I appreciate you watching. I'm sure Lamont does too, even though he's not sitting there. And we'll see you in the next one.